The Royal Navy, the British Army and the Royal Air Force, the protectors of the realm, they're all on the same team. That is, until the Inter-Service Championship, where once a year we come together to celebrate 100 years of respect, of rivalry and of rugby. Welcome to Twickenham, the home of England rugby and the iconic venue that hosts the Royal Navy versus the British Army. The Inter-Services Championship gets underway on the 20th of April, so let's go and meet some of the people at the heart of this fantastic competition.
Jared Haylor, I'm a captain in the Royal Marines and I'm captain of the Royal Navy Rugby team.
Tackle from Stu Crossman, he's got him there. Jared Haylor in the right place at the right time.
My name's Peter Austin, I'm a bombardier and I am the captain of the British Army Rugby team.
Peter, would I be correct in assuming that you are coming into this Inter-Services Championship with one ambition, and that's to win it?
Of course, yeah. It's every year it's the same two games, the same situation. You want to win them two games, and that's the tick in the box. Every time you step out on the pitch and you do a national anthem and you're wearing the shirt, it means the same thing.
And it's an important part of our culture and our heritage being British. And this is the epitome of us, our military personnel and our sportsmen. And watching the Inter-Services is where you can really sort of see the best athletes fight it out.
I'm Alex Stanley, I'm a flying officer in the Royal Air Force and the captain of the men's senior team, RAF team.
Perfect. He's been the best at that. Yeah. Can you say something nice about the Army?
I like their kit.
Can you say something nice about the Navy?
They're good on the beer afterwards. We're looking good. We've got some experienced players coming back, as well as some good new players in the mix. So we've got a nice blend, and we're quietly confident going into the tournament.
So it's a perfect day. You come here to Twickenham, you get the win. How do you celebrate?
Just get a few beers and watch the ladies' game and go from there.
Sounds great. Good luck.
Thank you.
Sarah, Huddy, Jenks, the event, the moment, the match of the year is coming up. It's hammering down at Twickenham. Fingers crossed the sun's shining when we come here for the game. Your first year coaching the Royal Navy in the Inter-Service. This is big.
It is very big. Very big. I'm very nervous. Looking forward to it though. Looking forward to the challenge, stepping up.
Second year for you. I mean, practically a veteran by comparison.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. Yeah, second year, but I've been involved with Army Rugby for a long time, so it just feels a bit different being up there rather than on the pitch now.
Where does this rank, the Inter-Services Championship and playing for the Army, compared to all of the other things that you've done in rugby?
Playing for the Army is pretty special. It's not often you get to, represent the UK, play international teams, and doing it for your work and the country. It's my most favourite shirt. I love wearing it. The pride that I feel wearing this red shirt is absolutely amazing, and no other feeling can beat that.
So whenever you're ready, straight down the barrel. Yeah.
Leading hand Rose Dixon, captain of the Women's Royal Navy Rugby team.
What about this year then? What are your expectations? What are you looking forward to?
So just really looking forward to getting into camp next week, first of all. There's a real buzz around as the Inter-Services is drawing closer and as more and more of the questions are going out and availability and stuff like that. So just really looking forward to get back together with the girls and have everyone back together again, because it's such a good vibe in Navy camp and we have so much fun. So that's probably the biggest thing, is getting back with them, but also kind of stepping up that level of rugby from kind of our dev season leading into the pre-IS games, stepping up that level of rugby to something really fantastic.
There's a small group of supporters up there. They're on a stadium tour and we've just heard them make some noise, and there's 20 there, and it was loud. On the day here for the big one, there are going to be tens of thousands. It's going to be a lot louder. How are you going to prepare the players for that? How are you going to prepare yourselves for that?
It's not the game isn't too bad, but the warm-up, the so much hard work, and you can feel the tension in all the girls as well, because they can't hear each other and the music's blaring and they're trying to get things right, but it's not quite right. So you have to just have to explain to them and go over it. So you're not going to be able to hear each other in warm-up. So let's practice not talking to each other. Let's just practice being a bit on the ground. But I think when it kicks off and the game starts flowing, it's just like any other game.
I think I remember last year coming out to Twickenham and the noise was just overwhelming, and me and you wouldn't be able to hear each other. It's that noisy, and I just think that atmosphere is so electric, and it really drives you to want to do the best or be the best you can for your team and for your service.
And what are you really looking forward to in terms of maybe a team to play against or an individual to play against?
Really looking forward to play against the RAF this year. We were pretty close to them at some points in the game last year in a very, very muddy Plymouth. So where we're back to this year. But yeah, so really looking forward to that game this year and hoping that we can build on the scoreline from last year and hopefully take the win.
Proper rugby.
Yeah.
Okay, how are you going to celebrate when you do win?
Well, we'll probably have, last year we had a really good night out actually with the RAF afterwards. Again, we are all close friends off the pitch, so probably very similar, big night out, maybe some fancy dress, but then straight back into camp and just train hard for the Army game. That will be our next step.
Good luck.
Thank you very much.
So I'm really excited because we've got 5 of you. You're the only ones who are sat together at a team. Is that because the Royal Air Force are the closest team, the tightest team? Is that fair to say?
Or we just hate the Army and the Navy, I'm not sure. I think we brought the most people today. The Army only brought 1 woman, so we thought we'd just bolster the numbers.
This will only be my 3rd into services, so I think I'm still quite fresh into the team in terms of I remember a few years ago, I've watched from the outside probably for years and years before that, but actually coming into it, you just buy into it straight away because you just know how important it is and how special it is for the whole group and how much history there is.
So why is it special then? Because you two in particular, you play a lot of rugby. You're rivals in Premiership Women's Rugby, Loughborough Lightning and Leicester Tigers. So you've played against each other for seasons for different teams. But the international rugby you play, the elite level club rugby you play, why is it different? Why is it special representing the Royal Air Force in the inter-services?
I think it's because you almost represent a smaller group of people, but the rivalry we have with the Army and the Navy is so big. And I think the consequences of losing those matches is almost greater because, you can't play the next week. We lost to whoever we lost at the weekend, but we can play again the next week. But within services, you have that one shot, and then you've got to sit there all year and think about it and reminisce and watch clips of the same game for a whole year before you can put it right.
Talk to us about Masters Rugby then, because I'd imagine it is still just as competitive, you're still just as keen to win, but talk to us about this group of lads that you put together for this.
Yeah, it's exactly like you say, the word Masters, it used to be called vets, veterans rugby, you put that title veterans, you expect to see 35-year-old plus people, old men running around the pitch when actually we still play to a high, high level, and it's a good calibre of rugby that we actually turn out. So when we're going through the season, we can't actually play against other vets teams because it's not a competition. So we have to find clubs, actual proper clubs to actually give us that competition that we need to get us ready for the inter-services.
Just like to say, it's so nice to speak to somebody who doesn't think that over 35s is old. That's very, very exciting and great to have a chat. The Royal Box at Twickenham. This feels like quite an apt place to have a conversation like this about a tournament like this. So let's start with the Royal Navy in the middle. The Inter-Service Championships. Why is it important and why should people support the Royal Navy?
The Inter-Service Championships are been running for over 100 years. It's a huge amount of history here. We look forward every year to coming together at the highest level of service sport and playing our colleagues from the RAF and the Army. The opportunity for some players to play at some of the best stadiums in the country, playing here on the hallowed turf at Twickenham. What's not to love? To be surrounded by like-minded people. Up to 82,000 people could be here cheering you on. Why should they support the Navy? Well,
they should. They should support the Army, shouldn't they? I think that's probably the answer.
The Navy are the senior service. We're the oldest service. So if you want some tradition and some history, and everyone looks good in dark blue, don't they?
What I noticed there is you said our colleagues, but then all of a sudden it doesn't take long for the barbs to start coming in, does it? The senior service, is that something the Army agree with? And
well, I think on paper the Navy are the senior service, but I think the best way to describe inter-service rugby is probably the fiercest of rivals on the pitch, but the best of friends off the pitch.
Corporal Matthew Stewart, the 2nd Battalion of Queen's Regiment, joined the Army in 1989 and ended up playing for Northampton Saints and Scotland, and obviously the Army.
Corporal Paul Hull, RAF, joined the RAF November 1985, played obviously combined services along with Matty, played for Bristol and England.
Perfect. Rugby, should we get some umbrellas for
yeah,
these
I was
boys?
about to say, I'm going to go grab an umbrella.
Jesus, sorry boys, do you want to step in the dry for a sec?
Literally just started when we come out. Yeah.
What I remember is the opportunity it gave me and the many friends you meet along the way. And you know, my first ever memory of representing the combined services out here against England students. And I remember that game finished and we was watching the inter-services guys turn up and it was their turn to do the magic out there, and I want to do that.
What about the camaraderie then? Because that's one of the things that so many people love about rugby. But it must be a little bit different in services rugby, right?
Well, it's like local derby, where you have Bristol, Gloucester, or Northampton, Leicester, but you've got two derbies in 1 year. You could go throughout the whole season where you're preparing for the inter-services. You could lose every game, but if you won the inter-services, it was a great season. So I think that's the beauty of it. And obviously when you do meet each other against each other and then come together, what we call the combined services, was also special as well.
On days like today, the opportunity to come to Twickenham, and I see Sarah now very frequently online in meetings and stuff like that, just to rub shoulders and catch up, and just brilliant to see the players, the management, the coaches, the people that are delivering service rugby just come together and celebrate what's going to be a fantastic championship.
RAF, colleagues or rivals?
Definitely colleagues, but we all wear a different uniform, and we brand ourselves with the uniform, and we identify with the uniform we wear. So it's absolutely bragging rights, and sport is a place where we can bring that out. But on one hand, we're going to be fighting each other out on the field there, but on a day-to-day basis, we operate absolutely hand in glove. So it's all the good things about sport. It allows that camaraderie, that selflessness, that passion to come out. But hopefully, this what everything you see in rugby is off the field with all the best of friends.
This feels special because this is the tunnel where all of the players, every player who's ever played here at Twickenham will stand. We've walked past what's effectively a museum coming out of the changing rooms where we've got the history, great games at this great stadium, the birth of the Red Roses. I've seen pictures of Danny Kerr and Maro Itoje and Shauna Brown and all these legends who've worn the Red Rose. But of course, whether it's England men, England women, the Six Nations, the WXV, the World Cup, or the Inter-Services Championship, if you're going to play at this great stadium, you stand here in this tunnel and it feels amazing. So Jason, let's talk about this place, what it means to rugby, but most importantly, what it means to you. You had some amazing experiences here. Can you talk us through some of the early ones when you first put on the white shirt and the red rose?
Yeah, I think, as you say, it's a special place to play, home of England rugby. And for me, I always remember my first game here because I came from rugby league and I never knew how people would take to me. And I remember I came in as a sub 20 minutes from time, and I remember being quite nervous because, it's an amazing stadium, 80,000 people in there. But I just thought this is a great opportunity to play, to represent my country. I think you've got to enjoy it as well. And for some reason, I don't know how, but I used to just love the big stage, and it doesn't come any bigger than this.
You personally, captain of this team, what are you really looking forward to about the Inter-Services?
It's a massive occasion, and I'm just really hoping that the lads front up, and I just hope that they're two good games to watch and to be a part of, and that we just absolutely go head to head and put on a good show for everyone watching and spectating.
Good luck.
Thanks, Dave. Thank you very much.
This year, we've had a lot of time to work and put a few things right that we got wrong last year.
My favourite memory of the inter-services is probably winning last year. Oh, really? As the first time for coaching, you know, having been on the receiving end of a lot of losses over the years.
The Babcock Trophy is in Navy possession once again.
I think we'd all agree that the ability to play sport, be that rugby or any other sport, is absolutely part and part of service life. And we feel very privileged to be undertaking careers where sport is so fundamental to not only the moral component, what makes us tick as people, but also just ensuring that we can deliver on operations as well. And the point that Al made about the sort of the benefits of sport translating into the operational environment, I mean, I couldn't agree more. They really do ring true.
I mean, the great thing about the inter-service competition is the opportunity for everyone to come together, but also to support our service charities as well, and other charities. As we say, we wear a uniform every day, but there's a whole group of people involved in supporting this event and making this event happen.
I think both from the Twickenham game on May the 4th and Kingsholm May the 11th against the RAF will be two awesome games, so come and watch it. It's a really good standard rugby, it's a good day out for families, and you'll see the best of what service rugby's got to offer.
It all kicks off in Plymouth on the 20th of April, then we're here at the home of rugby on the 4th of May. It finishes in Gloucester at Kingsholm on the 11th of May. We've heard from the players, we've heard from the coaches, we've heard from the legends. They live it, they love it, they look forward to it, and now it's time for you to come and see for yourself and to be a part of it.